Hello, people of the internet, and welcome back to Rushman Productions, where I talk about everything comics, movies, and superheroes. So, last time in the first episode in the history of the DC universe, we discussed from the start, the beginning of the universe, to the destruction of Krypton and all the events that followed in between. So, this time in episode 2, we'll pick right up after that. Let's just start. So, rumors of a superpowered teenager takes roots in today's society, and finally Superman emerges as the poster boy for the new age of heroes. Under the disguise of Clark Kent, a reporter at Daily Planet, Superman befriends his human colleagues Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, and Perry White. At the same time in Gotham, billionaire Bruce Wayne roams as a masked vigilante by the name of Batman, who protects the city from crime, honoring his parents and avenging their death. Now, Batman's early allies were his own butler Alfred and the police lieutenant James Gordon. Then on Themyscira, a child is born of clay and was endowed with godly powers and arrived at the shores of America. Then she adopted the name of Wonder Woman, which was used by her mother, Queen Hippolyta, while fighting World War II. Now, in Central City, a police scientist was struck by a bolt of lightning which was infused by the chemicals lying around him. Now, these chemicals entered Barry Allen, who became the Scarlet Speedster, the fastest man alive, and adopted the name of his childhood hero, the Flash. Then, Oliver Queen, a billionaire, was stuck in a remote desert island and had to depend on his archery skills to survive. Upon returning home to Star City, he polished his skills and became the Green Arrow. Now, thrill seekers Rocky Davis, Red Ryan, Professor Walter Haley, and Ace Morgan survived a disastrous plane crash and decided to explore the world's most dangerous phenomena and decided to call themselves the Challengers of the Unknown. Hal Jordan was selected to become the Green Lantern for his honesty and his ability to overcome fear. Adam Strange, using the teleportation Zeta beam, was able to split his time from Earth and Run, a distant planet, also his second home, and to defend it from alien threats. Now, Arthur Curry was born to a lighthouse keeper and an Atlantean queen, and was able to control the forces of water and was able to communicate with all fish life. He became the Aquaman. Wherever there are heroes, there are villains. So Batman found himself up against the Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime, Catwoman, the Jewel Thief, the mob financier Penguin, Two-Face, the Riddler, and Clayface. Now Superman too faces some enemies in form of Lex Luthor, a brilliant scientist and a businessman, Brainiac, Metallo, Toyman, and Mr. Mystic, who is an imp from the fifth dimension. Even the fastest man alive had a rogues gallery, including Captain Cold, Mirror Master, Gorilla Grodd, the Trickster, Weather Wizard, Heatwave, and Captain Boomerang. Now, Batman was the first to take in a young crime fighting partner, a young circus aerialist whose parents had been murdered. He took the name of Robin. Iris West, who was Barry Allen's girlfriend, her nephew Wally West was accidentally connected to the Speed Force in a freak accident and became Flash's sidekick, Kid Flash, and was very enthusiastic to work along him. Arthur adopted a boy named Garth, who had been exiled by the Atlanteans as he was deemed a genetic throwback, and he was given the name Aqualad. Roy Harper's forest ranger parents died in a fire, so he was adopted by the Navajo tribe. And after their leader was killed by some mysterious circumstances, he brought the killer to justice with the help of the Green Arrow and later was taken in by him and took the name Speedy. Now, Darkseid became aware of the rising number of heroes on Earth, so he decided to reduce their numbers. He was taken in surprise when he found himself and his army of parademons were repelled in an invasion which he thought would be a simple conquest. Now, joining in the battle was Victor Stone, who was a high school athlete, but half of his body parts were destroyed by Darkseid. So, in order to save him, his father replaced most of his flesh and bones with machinery and technology, turning him into cyborg. Later, the Justice League formed when an alien invasion from planet Aplax threatened Earth's safety. Martian Manhunter John Jones stepped into the limelight and Dinah Lance became the Black Canary. Joining the League later were Green Arrow, Ralph Dibny, Elongated Man, Ray Palmer, the Atom, who could shrink down to the size of an atom. The latest incarnations of Hawkman and Hawkgirl joined as well. As the Flash was troubled by Jay Garrick's enemies, Jay appeared after a decade after his disappearance. Soon after that, the Justice Society returned as well to fight the crime champions. Plenty of younger heroes were getting in action too. A second survivor of Krypton's destruction was found, and her name was Kara Zor-El, the sister of Superman. She was stuck in a time warp, so when she landed on Earth years later, Superman helped her to manage her life on Earth as Supergirl. A young superhero team was also established, with members being Robin, Kid Flash, Speedy, Aqualad, Mal Duncan, the Second Guardian, Karen Beecher, who is Bumblebee, Lilith Clay, the Cave Boy Narc, Wonder Woman's adopted sister Wonder Girl, and they became the Teen Titans. The seeds of Superman project finally bear fruit. Dr. Will Magnus developed the Metal Men, who were autonomous robots and were powered by responsometers programmed with abilities of their respective elements. Dr. Niles Calder came up with the unfortunate accidents, which were Elastigirl, Negative Man, and Robot Man, which were the Doom Patrol. Simon Stagg sent his daughter's boyfriend Rex Mason in an Egyptian tomb to retrieve the Orb of Ra. While there, he was exposed to an ancient meteor that scrambled the chemicals in his body and gave him control over their various properties, thus becoming Metamorpho. Zatanna, daughter of Zatara, inherited her father's magical abilities and is now capable to cast spells by saying the commands backwards. Solar engineer Bruce Gordon became the host of the dark god Eclipso and turned to the heroes to help him control the evil within. Mobster Patrick O'Brien was infused with chemicals that allowed him to stretch his body in ways no human ever could, and he became the Plastic Man. A Hollywood stuntman was exposed to alien radiation that connected him to morphogenetic field called the Red that allowed him to mimic powers of any nearby animals and became Animal Man. Aquaman met Mera, who was the crown princess of the underwater kingdom of Zebel, and they had a son, Arthur Jr. Instead of ruling Atlantis, Aquaman gave the throne to his half-brother Orm, the Ocean Master, but Orm launched an attack on the surface world, so Aquaman dethroned him and took his rightful position as the king of Atlantis. Eventually, the Justice League and the Justice Society of America battled the alternate Earth version of the Justice League called the Crime Syndicate, who came from the world where evil thrived. Wonder Woman had many arch enemies as well, including Cheetah, Dr. Psycho, Silver Swan, Giganta, and Angleman. Superman met the power draining Parasite and an imperfect version of him with a crude backward mentality called Bizarro. Batman and Robin battled with Deadshot, Poison Ivy, and Mr. Freeze. Green Lantern faced off against his former mentor, Sinestro, who had gone rogue and now served the cause of tyranny. Industrialist Ted Kord took the mantle of Blue Beetle, although not the abilities, but instead fought crime with his inventive genius. Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's daughter, was inspired by Batman and took the identity of the Batgirl. An investigative newsman, Vic Sage, who saw the world in strict black and white, battled evil as the Question. Eve Eden, also known as Nightshade, could cast darkness and travel through the shadows. Boston Brand, a slain daredevil trapeze artist, became Deadman, who was chosen by the goddess Ramakrishna to linger on Earth and balance injustice by inhabiting the bodies of others. Brothers Hank and Don Hall were tapped by Lords of Order and Chaos respectively, and they were transformed into Hawk, who fought with his fists, and Dove, who sought peace. A special serum and device made Jack Ryder into the Creeper, who was a menace to the underworld. Teenager Robbie Reed dials the word hero on an alien device and turns into a random new hero every time. By this time, the Justice League had undergone several changes. Wonder Woman had to temporarily surrender her powers. The League's new headquarters were now on a satellite base. Red Tornado, a whirlwind android, also joined the Justice League. Following Darkseid's invasion, the new gods, including Mr. Miracle, the Forever People, and Orion, took great effort in resisting Darkseid's quest for the anti-life equation that was hidden on Earth. Darkseid still influenced some events on Earth. He equipped the Metropolis's Intergang with futuristic technology and weaponry. Then, mirroring the genetic engineering efforts of Project Cadmus run by Dubilex and defended by a clone of the original Guardian, he commanded his underlings Mokari and Simeon to create a cloning facility named the Evil Factory. A Metropolis based criminal organization, the 100, fell into the crosshairs of a woman named Rose Forrest, who has a dissociative identity disorder. So, the alternative personality Thorn emerged each night to fight the 100. The League of Assassins continued till date under Ra's al Ghul, but his daughter Talia's loyalties were often threatened by her love for Batman. The Parliament of Trees found a new Swamp Thing avatar when an explosion combined the biochemist Alec Holland's DNA with the plants and water of Louisiana Bayou. The protocols of the Guardians required each Green Lantern to have a designated backup in case of injury or death. For Earth, this was Guy Gardner, who was a gym teacher but could not serve until much later due to an injury. So instead, John Stewart, a military veteran and an architect, was appointed as the backup Green Lantern and eventually became a full-time ring singer. Nubia, the last Amazon to reincarnate from the Well of Souls, was given the duty to guard the Doom's Doorway, which was a portal to Hades, and she will be the future queen of the Amazons. A new wave of Eastern-influenced warriors also emerged, including Richard Drakonovsky, better known as Richard Dragon, Ben Turner, better known as Bronze Tiger, and an exceptional fighter, Lady Shiva. Travis Morgan, an Air Force pilot, inadvertently crossed the dimensional barriers and crash-landed into Skartaris, where he became a warlord in this world of sword and sorcery. On Earth, an international terrorist group called Cobra had begun spreading its venom. In Gotham, Rory Regan, better known as Ragman, was fighting crime with a mystical suit which allowed him to absorb the souls and abilities of the criminals. In Metropolis, an Olympian and a high school teacher, Jefferson Pierce, battled the 100 as Black Lightning. Now the number one hater in the world, competing with the Reverse Flash, Black Manta, Aquaman's arch nemesis, killed his son Arthur Jr., and for this heinous act, he will never be forgiven by Aquaman. Again, the US government hired scientists and visionaries for the Superman Project Phase 2. Phase 2 was handled by the new Department of Metahuman Affairs. Those who survived their experiments and became heroes were Captain Atom, Firestorm, and Element Woman, while Killer Frost, Man-Bat, and Lady Clayface became bad immediately. Mari McCabe, a Zambesian American businesswoman, became the vixen and could use the strength of animals from an amulet Tantu necklace with the help of Red. Amy Winston discovered on her 13th birthday that she was the Princess Amethyst of the magical gem world. Erwin Schwab became Ambush Bug, who had a teleportation suit. The Teen Titans had a temporary dissolution, and in the new team, joining them were Starfire, the princess from planet Tamaran, Rachel Roth, Raven, a supernatural empath who could release a powerful shadow soul self, Garfield Logan, better known as Beast Boy, then a revived Cyborg with a more successful fusion of man and machine. One of their earliest enemies was Trigon, who was Raven's father and came to disturb them time and again. Other enemies were Brother Blood and Deathstroke, who is the world's deadliest assassin. He almost toppled the Titans after trying to manipulate them to admit his protege, Terra. Wally West retired from being Kid Flash as his speed was gradually decreasing. In order to escape the shadow of the Bat, Dick Grayson went on to become Nightwing. His spot as the Robin was quickly filled by a rough-edged street urchin, Jason Todd. Judge Adrian Chase believed himself to be a good guy while violently punishing the guilty as vigilante. But this regret of abandoning the rule of law made him take his own life. Another anti-hero was Lobo, the sole survivor of planet Zarnia. and an intergalactic bounty hunter. Omega Men were extraterrestrial freedom fighters in the Vega star system, where the Green Lanterns were not allowed. Batman broke from the Justice League to form his own team, the Outsiders, with the members being Halo, Katana, Geoforce, and some other former allies. Soon the League nearly disbanded, but was held tightly by Martian Manhunter, Zatanna, Aquaman, and Elongated Man. Relocating to Detroit, they brought in new members such as Vibe, Vixen, Gypsy, and Steel. Hollywood stuntman Dan Cassidy originally was the happy-go-lucky Blue Devil, but after his defeat at the hands of Hellish Neron, he became a true demon. But still he fought on the side of the angels alongside Phantom Stranger. On the other hand, not caring about using white or black magic, John Constantine, an occult detective, got the job done by any means necessary. Despite the friendship between the Justice Society of America and the Justice League, the JSA never passed down the torch to them. Instead, it went to another superhero group called Infinity Inc. The team was led by Star Spangled Kid, who was called Skyman now. Jade and Obsidian, the kids of the original Green Lantern, were also part of this team. Atom Smasher, godson of the Atom, Silver Scarab, the son of Hawkman and Hawkgirl, Northwind, Fury, who took the name of her mother, and Brainwave Jr. were all part of Infinity Inc. At the time, the universe felt quite stable, but then, arising from the cosmic void, came Perpetua's son, Anti-Monitor. Up until now, the multiverse was a realm of wonder, a window into roads not taken, but now it was turned into a battlefield. The Anti-Monitor and his shadow demons began unleashing waves of antimatter energy on parallel realities, annihilating them. With each extinction event, the Monitor weakened. He could not resist the destruction on his own. With the help of Harbinger and Pariah, the Monitor kept close track of his brother's path of destruction and brought together dozens and dozens of heroes from the surviving universes to build an army against the ultimate evil. After suffering countless defeats and losing countless lives across the multiverse, including Supergirl, for a time being, the entire reality was reduced to one universe. A new ally was made in scientist Kimio Hoshi as the new Dr. Light. And finally, the Flash, Barry Allen, in an attempt to destroy Anti-Monitor's most deadly weapon, shattered the known limits of speed and died. And book 2 ends. So, this was around the creation of the Justice League, the new age of superheroes from Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the Justice League, Teen Titans, the return of the JSA. So, this was the kind of more popular era of heroes that we know. The first book was kind of full of myth and legends, the act of creation, these alien races, these different kinds of people, all magical and all kind of these all powerful people. But this one was more grounded, more earthly, things that were happening on this earth, the heroes that were forming on this earth, how this world in here was enlarging and enhancing. So now in book 3, we will see what happens next. Again, I love doing this because it gives us a complete timeline of all the events, all the crisis events, every single event, the formation of these superhero teams, and what has happened in a cohesive timeline. And that is why I like it. So yes, sub to the channel for part 3. Part 3 will come soon. And yeah, like the video, comment. That's it. I'll see you in the next.